Hi, it's Phil here. In the second NCEA video, we're going to be looking at the latter part of managing your data, looking at the tracking of it and then outputting it to the file to send off to NCEA. But first, let's just reiterate what we looked at in the first video, and that was to start off with attaching your standards to the courses, and that's done under the curriculum course summary, and then choose your course, and then once you've clicked add standards, you'll be presented with this page here. On here, Edge is giving you the most likely choices of standards to attach by looking at the subject you've got it associated with, the MOE subject, and you can choose any others you like, removing those that are there and adding others. Further down, you can manage individual standards here, removing them, checking internal, external, credits, etc., etc. Below again, any classes you've already got set up, and that's where these standards will flow down to. Once you've done that, you should then go through to edit standards. This is where you can drill down into individual classes and courses and then adjust and tailoring and adding and subtracting standards on particular classes and courses down to individual students. So effectively you get individual learning plans for each of your students. So as you can see, I've opened up English 2. I've got two classes attached there. I can open up one of them, and that'll cascade down, and we can see the list of the standards at the top, and then tick and untick the standards we'd like attached to each individual student. Very powerful, this. Grayed out ones are where results have already been added, so you cannot take those off the student. Further to the right, you can assign new standards to the particular course from this page. So there's your workflow. Adding standards to the courses, which flows through onto the classes, and then managing individual classes and the students within them and the standards attached. From there, you can then start tracking what's going on. So individual student bases, you have the top choice here, which we'll look at a little bit later, but right further down at the bottom we have progress table, which is a very powerful tool. We also looked in the last video, but it's had a little bit of upgrade through May this year. So I've already got it open in another tab. There it is there. A filter's been added at the top here, and a number of choices of what you'd like to see. And if you scroll down a little bit to the bottom, you can see there's now a scroll bar, and as you move across, there is a lot more information being added to this particular display to look at. Reminder that when you've got this color, it means the credits are above the required value needed for that particular column, level 1 literacy in this case. And of course each column is sortable just by clicking the header. You can see it move very quickly up and down. Down the bottom, change the pages, so it's showing in this case 1 to 20 of the 51 entries, and you just move between the pages as you'd like there. So very powerful tool. It's live data, and it's showing what you can see on each individual student. And as I mentioned before, you can filter down to different instructional year levels, classes and ethnicity, etc. Show different information or hide it, so you can really track. Good for deans, good for management to keep an eye on what's going on. And from here you can then look at individual students. So we can, I think the best way to go from here is to right click on any student and then use open link in a new tab, and that pops up at the top, and we can click over to that, and that takes us to what I mentioned before, the student summary. And in here you get all the detail on a particular student, and it's broken up into in progress standards, so what's going on in the current year in this case. Further down, the level 3 of those, any withdrawn standards and not achieved towards the bottom. Printable if you'd like to refer to it in a printed page. Higher up, a little bit of a summary. You can see credit summary on this, and you can see of course changing it from the default, which is the current year, through to all years, so you're getting what's going on in this case. Whereas a credit summary, and this is literally what the title suggests, a breakdown. Any results that have been brought in and confirmed by NCEA will be displayed here, and then showing on this particular student, and then it breaks it down credits by level for what you'll have on there. Related to this, under the curriculum menu, we have assigned standards. That's another place you should be visiting regularly, and it can be done by course or student. Probably as the year progresses, you're more looking at the individual student basis. So we'll go into here, choose a particular student, Again, if necessary, you can use the filter and choose leavers if you wanted to see what was going on with people that have left. And here we go. Here's the standards attached to the student, and we could right click and go and have a look at the details on this. Mousing over gives us the title of the particular standard, and then in the spreadsheet type view we have all the necessary information to see what's going on with the particular standards. We have the result, when that result was gained, whether the student wants to take the paper in te reo or answer in te reo, has it been submitted, kind of important column, and whether you want to withdraw this particular standard. Okay, they intended to sit it, and in the end that didn't occur. And also on the right hand side here, whether the standard is part of an endorsable course. Now, just a reminder, withdrawal of a standard is different to what we looked at a little minute earlier, which was edit standards. If you edit standards and untick them, that means as if the standard was never attached to the student. It's not withdrawing. This is quite different. At the bottom of the page, we can see withdraw student from NCEA. So that would put ticks in all of the standards and also withdraw them from being a part of the NCEA submission for that year. Don't forget to save that once if you make any changes through there. We'll go back to the curriculum menu now, and you can see we have information on billing, which is fairly self-explanatory. It will automatically calculate the values you need on that student, and you can track that as they pay what's required. But the one we need to follow this through with is the NCEA import and export. And here, once you've been through the routine we've been discussing, as in the course summary and then editing standards, you'll need to submit those. So in here, export to NCEA is the first tab, and it will remind you if you've done one previously. Remember, generating it is not sending it off or getting it to NCEA. It just generates the file for you to check, and then you can use the usual routine on the NCEA website to import the file that you've created at that point. So you click generate, and it will then list any errors. As this is a demo database, there's more than you would ever expect in your own data, but you can go through these and sort out any that you need to do, and then once it's done, it would create the file for you, and you'd be able to upload that to the NCEA website through the portal. The other one we'll look at the moment, importing NCEA results file, only occurs a couple of times. You get this in January of the year following the submission of your results and the students and that. So this is just where you select the file and import it. Do suggest that you do this later in the year because there's 2 or 3 times they'll update the file from NCEA, and to keep you right up to date you should revisit the NCEA website and bring the file back in to make sure you've got the most up-to-date standards on that. Also note, under the curriculum menu in the NCEA sub-menu, we have other things like analysis. This is looking at your data against national results, which Musac's imported automatically for you, so it will do some comparison there, and this functionality will grow through the year as we add more bits and pieces in there. And the more obvious ones, we have Mark NCEA, so the teacher has their own interface to add results in here, or if it's putting in a result against something that was an exam that was occurring through the year. To keep track of that, use the progress where you can add results to internals and externals, whereas Mark NCEA only gives you the ability to add marks to internal results. And then to overview, we have view results, which is very similar to edit standards. Again, you get the cascading menus in here, filtering if you want to. And we can go again to the English 2 that we had. It cascades out. Choose a particular class, and this gives a spreadsheet view where you can see the results that have been entered along with the standards at the top.